Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is another new amazing Golden Talks, and we are in doing an English interview with two amazing guys from Oracle World with a huge knowledge and experience with many technologies. One of them, I would say that he's like a machine learning because he studied a lot and have a lot of knowledge with many Oracle technologies. And the other one, he's just a master of rock. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to announce that today we have a pleasure to talk with Sandesh Rao and Anil Nair.
Thank you for having us.
Bom dia, guys.
Hello, bom dia, guys. That's good. Sandesh also have know to talk some words in Portuguese. This is very nice. So, how are you feeling today, guys?
Very good.
Very
We're
good.
so happy
Very
to be
good.
here.
Okay, that's very nice. I'm also very happy to have you here. It's a groundbreaking edition here on Golden Talks. Have two guys like you. So, to we start here, I would ask to you do a quick interview of yourself and what you are working and doing now. So, can we start with Sandesh?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Sandesh. I've been in the IT space for almost 20 plus years. Uh, right now, I'm kind of working on the on AI and machine learning related spaces, and particularly on the AIOps stack. And my primary responsibility is to detect faults in cloud infrastructure and to be able to report things, to be able to have corrective actions against them, and to use AI and machine learning algorithms to be able to, isolate the problems that need to be fixed. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years. We have some extensive experience working on database infrastructure and a whole bunch of Oracle products before that.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you, Sandesh. And now, Anil, can you tell a little bit about you?
Yes, definitely. So I'm Anil Nair. I'm the Oracle Rack product manager. I've been working on database technologies for almost 25 years now. Sandesh and I both have been in the trenches, so as we speak. What that means is we were the front line of support for a long time. We looked at all the different kinds of issues, corruptions, hangs, performance issues, backup recovery. Then, obviously for mission critical systems, there's other issues that would be involved. So we were in the trenches looking at these issues, and I'm very happy to have learned a lot from my customers and a lot from each other. So this has been primarily, that's what we've been doing for the last 25, around 25 years, I would say.
Oh, that's very nice. So both of you have more than 20 years working in Oracle. Oh, can you imagine that? How many
Yeah.
things you already have with knowledge and experience with all of these years? And by the way, Anil, I like it very much your background. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
very easy. And also in Sandesh, it's in San Francisco in the Golden Gate.
Absolutely. This is what you do when you don't travel, right? You have to stay
Yeah.
and you have to pretend that you're traveling.
Yeah, it's very nice. And so you both have a lot of experience and knowledge and many years of career. And can you tell us a little bit how all of this started? How was your first contact with computer, with IT, and how you started your career in this IT world? So can we start with Anil now?
Sure, definitely. So, it was interesting times when at least when I passed college, went to computer science. I distinctly remember my sister telling me, "Why did you do computers?" It was just a new thing, and I joined a company in India, which is called TCS, or Tata Consultancy Services.
Hmm.
It was nice. We had very good time. And there was the time when there was this IT boom in '97. I came to America, joined Oracle, and we were in support. So we were given different jobs. Like I said, we were in performance. And there was this product which was not very well known then. It's called OPS, Oracle Parallel Server. And it was a bit more complicated because, usually you would have a lot more nodes. So it's not like query tuning just for one. It is to be, everything is in parallel. So some of us decided to work on that, and it was an interesting time. Then we moved, OPS became rack, and we continued with it. We used to, cater to what we call as mission critical systems, which includes rack and data guard. So from those times to almost now, just to give you something to compare, when I started my career, having a 4 gig server means that is a huge system. That was supposed to be with Novell NetWare. I don't know if anybody's even heard of it. I'm going back way back. Now, even your laptops have more memory than that, right? So
Yeah.
just a vast amount of time has passed. Technology has improved, but the need to troubleshoot this, make sure this is running, is all the more important. We learned all the issues that customers experience. We have used it into prevent our products from failing. But as technology changes, newer things come up and newer things fail, and we need to make sure we catch that. So I'm very happy working with these technologies, what we call as MAA, maximum availability architecture, for rack and data guard. It's amazing.
Okay, that's very, very good, Anil. Thanks for that. And Sandesh, can you tell us about your story?
I had a much more interesting start. I
Hmm.
started off with games. I played games all day, and
Games.
my parents would be like, get off the machine, and I'd be like, no, no, I got to clear these levels. Like Prince of Persia, Legend of Kyrandia, all these games. That's my first thing that attracted me to computers. As I would play games all the time, and then slowly I started working on other things on the computer which didn't involve games, but I had no ideas. I was like, wait a second, what is this C colon DOS directory? Oh, there's a file called command.com. It probably is a game.
Hmm.
And then soon I realized what an operating system was. Soon got into Turbo C, C++ programming. And of course, I was in computer science. So started going along that path naturally. I was lucky to have computers at a very young age. Um, I wanted to do everything but databases, but I just kind of landed up in databases because of my first company. It's one of those weird things, right? It's like I want to be a Windows NT admin. I want to be a Unix admin. I want to be a system administrator. Oh, I want to own the checkpoint firewall so I can control who sees things and who doesn't see things. And then,
Good.
life changes its course and says, hey, welcome, you're a DBA. You're going to install Oracle out here. And I was like installing Oracle 7344 at my first company, right? So that's where that thing started. I had a slightly different segues. Like started working with enterprise manager, and finally, when I landed up in Oracle, I was working on OPS, and that's where me and Anil kind of crisscrossed, and we were like working on these 46 node clusters, trying to figure out how to tune something, and we are like, where's this query running from? Oh, it's got like 500 parallel query slaves spanning across all these machines, and we'd be debugging all these individual things, right? And then obviously that came along, DataGuard came along, all these other products came along, and we kind of shifted, started working on all these different spaces, and it's been very interesting. Different exposures, working at customer sites, handling remote customer issues, working on customer escalations. They all give you a different perspective of the products, of the different kinds of business problems that you have. It's very important to kind of be there on the ground sometimes, because what we know when we build products is very different from the reality of how customers use your products.
True.
And then, I kind of like, one of my pet peeves has always been like what Anil's is troubleshooting stuff. It's like trying to figure out why this thing doesn't work. And then I realized that, you can actually use AI and machine learning to solve many of these problems. And I decided to go into a space to build a scalable infrastructure that actually allows us to, identify and solve problems using machine learning as a tool. And that's what drove me to this AIOps space.
Right, right. Very good and also very amazing story too. And
I miss my games.
you miss, but nowadays you
I
don't
have
play
the
games?
Xbox. Now I play games with my
Good,
kids.
good. That's nice. Uh, I have here some messages that people are commenting here while we are talking, and I have here Marcos Vinicius saying the selfie guy. Who is the selfie guy? Let me see, Sandesh or
So,
Anil?
Sandesh, the selfie guy. Yes.
Anil started it all off. I took it to a completely new level, and then we continue doing things. It's like it's not a competition. Selfie is an act, like it's something it's used to improve the community. So it's not like who posts more selfies, right? It's like who creates the bigger community. So That's what selfies is. And we started off doing this like 3 or 4 years ago when I started presenting for AIOUG first. And once we started doing selfies, we were like, wait a second, how can we get 50 people into a selfie? See, remember, these were the times when selfie cameras were not that great. And you had to fit 50 people into a selfie was a difficult task. You had to stand on a bench, you had to make people go behind you, and someone would stamp a chair or something, or it would be an arduous task. But of course, nowadays wide angle cameras and all these things have changed. But we started doing this, and we realized that people were far more engaged, and that was the whole idea behind it. It's like when I went to Brazil the first time, like I didn't know anybody. I kind of knew some of these guys from online, from seeing their presentations. Like I know Marcus is presenting something, I know Alex presents something, I know you present something. So I've seen your stuff online, right? But then I'm like, how do I introduce myself to these guys? So I decided to do selfies. And after a while, everybody gets comfortable talking to each other. So that's the whole idea. It is building community. And, selfies are a tool for people to just get friendlier with each other even though they don't know each other. And then later on, you kind of become best friends and you start tweeting about each other. And then things just kind of go to a completely new level. So yes, I do miss selfies. And hopefully we can come back and do some more next year in CUOB.
Right, right. Very, very nice. And what you told really makes sense. The selfies and the photo that we are publish on social network make us a little bit closer for guys that it's around
Mm-hmm.
all the world. And also for me, I met you guys first by photos, and after that, personally last year on the GOB that we have here in Brazil. So this is very
Nice.
true. Very
Yep.
nice.
Yeah, I think also Sandesh, like Sandesh said, one of the things that I really like about this whole idea of selfies is that when you go to a class or when you're presenting, it shouldn't be a monologue. We should be interactive. And selfies gets, it cuts the ice. It makes it so much easier for people to feel that comfortable asking questions like, all right, let's see why, what, and like Sandesh says, makes good friends, communication, building communities. That's really selfies does accomplish a lot.
Yep.
Very, very, very good. And as we're talking about community and these kind of things, you also guys have a lot of work in last years with community and traveling around the world. Tell a little bit more about this to us. What you're feeling about that? How it's for you to be traveling and sharing information and knowledge with many different people in many different countries and different professionals.
Anil, do you want to go first?
Oh, okay, definitely. That's fine. Thank you. It's been amazing. Let me tell you that initially I was a bit hesitant when this thing came up first, going to country where you don't know the language. So, since we are being very friendly to each other, one of my things that I cannot do is learn a new language that easily. I can get some words, not my thing to learn languages
Mhm.
uh, that easily. So, it was a bit interesting going out. But then once I went out, I say, hey, meet these guys, and they take care of you like your best friend, right? They take care of you. They make sure you get what, if there's any allergies in the food or what kind of food you don't want, make sure they take you around the place and, make you comfortable. This was amazing. And I was like, hey, these are great guys, just like the friends I have back home. So this is amazing part of the job that you get to make really good friends. When I look at, people tell me that, hey, how come you have friends in Brazil? You just went there like two times for like 2 days. And I have a ton of friends in Brazil now. So now it's like, you feel good, right? So now I look forward to traveling there. That's one aspect of personal aspect of it. The professional aspect of that is the problems we face, the customers face in the US is a little bit different than what Brazil faces versus what people in maybe the companies, what India or maybe in China. It's all different, and it's very important for evangelists like me, Sandesh, to get there and understand it. We cannot sit here, thousands of miles away and say, "Oh, I think this company needs that." No, no, that doesn't work
Mhm.
that way, right?
Good
There is a
point.
reason why they went that path, and communication when you go there is a lot different. You could sit on a phone, talk about it for like 5 days, or you could just go there, talk to them, interact with them. and know a lot better about their requirements. And that is the professional aspect of it. So professional and personal, it's a complete thing when you go out and help the community be better, and interact with them, and take these actions that selfies, or going out with them, or just be on a tour, and know so much about each other.
Right, right, good. And you told two points that I like it very much. One of them it's about the professional thing that you understand your customer when you are with the customer, not far away and another country.
Exactly.
This is very nice. And the other point, it's about how things happen when you are traveling. I have some experience, as I told before, last year with foreign guys, and the point that you told about food, drinking, and if the other guides understand or not what it's happening, this is very nice. And you only how can I say this? You only be aware of this when you are in this situation, because before that was not aware that, hey, let me see if what I'm eating this guy is supposed to eat too or not, or things like this.
Right,
So
right.
this is very interesting. And so let's talk with
I think I
Sandesh.
think I just I think I just like to travel, and it's like, for me the last 4 years has been a roller coaster. I used to do conferences and stuff like that, but not to the extent I started doing over the last couple of years. I've been very fortunate to be able to interact with so many people. I think my energy just flows when I'm out there with people and I'm trying to express myself. I've made a whole bunch of new friends. I've been able to talk about and express different topics in great depth by actually participating in these conferences in person. The biggest thing I miss about these things is you're not there to you can't see the interaction. You can't see the interaction with what you see with the other people, right? I can't see what people are reacting to us right now. It's like that's the biggest part I miss, because I think it's very important to get feedback while you're presenting, right? You see people getting bored, you see people getting interested, you see people asking questions. That aspect of in-person presentations, in my opinion, is something that can never be represented by a remote webcast. So that's what I started enjoying. Is like when you go there, uh, many people who want to learn a technology are intimidated by it. They want you to tell them why they should learn this technology, or somebody wants career advice, or some people want to do something very different with their lives, but they're scared about making those decisions. Oh, I want to be a DBA to an Exadata DBA, or I want to go from an Exadata DBA to a cloud DBA. How do I do this? Like, what are the new technologies I need to learn? People are very scared to make that
Fantastic.
jump, right? So when they sit in a presentation, right, like I do this presentation for 20 tips and tricks with the autonomous database. I know many people have given a certification and passed after my presentation, because it's like it just makes you comfortable, right? You get information very quickly, very distilled, and then if the speaker gets you, then you can actually ask questions, whatever is interesting, and then everything just works out for you. So that's what I miss in the in-person, which we're not able to do because of COVID right now, is the in-person interaction, the energy, and while you're doing all this networking, the sharing of knowledge that implicitly happens.
Good.
So that's what got me started, and I really enjoy this whole process.
That's very nice. Yeah, and of course, so and personally, the uh, I forgot now the word in English. I'm sorry, but the feeling is different, right? People are
You can
more
say the
hot, right?
Portuguese word, by the way. We both
Yeah.
understand Portuguese a little bit. You know that,
Yes.
right?
Uh, Talking about that, as you were saying now, I know that you guys talk a lot of languages, right? And
Yes.
so, how many languages do you speak? Can you tell us a little bit uh, about this? You can start with a new.
Yes. So this is a question that comes to me all the time, especially now that I've admitted my lack of interest in learning newer and newer languages. Is we had this chat with I think one of my friends from Colombia, and he was asking me, Anil. I was asking him, hey, so give me some tips to learn Spanish, right? And so he asked me how many languages I know, and I told him, well, I know about 6 to 7 languages, I would say. I wouldn't count it top of my head, but again, but it's all more from the Indian subcontinent. And although India is one country, we have a lot of languages. So I know a lot of the local languages there. And I would say, and Sandesh would probably agree that, reasonably comfortable for 7 languages, and 2, 3 languages I can get by. But that's a big thing, right? 9 languages is not a small thing. But unfortunately, like if you say South America or even if you say Americas, right? A lot of that English is more prevalent, or even Spanish is a bit more prevalent, which is something which I don't know. But I have been trying to take some Babel classes. So trying to get some Spanish, trying to get some French, and understand this a little bit more, because I have a lot of friends and I'd like to surprise them one day.
Very good, very good. But I know that you know
See,
some
one of the
words in
things that
Portuguese, right?
Yes.
Anil wants to learn is German, because his boss is German, so he can sneak into their conversations.
It makes sense.
It's like it's like, oh, they're talking about me. Okay, I'm going to keep quiet now.
Yes. No, Portuguese is on my list, because I heard it's very. If I know Spanish, I could easily better accommodate that. So I'm on my way. It's on my list.
Okay, good, good.
Go ahead, Sandesh.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know pretty much similar languages to what Anil knows, probably a little lesser than him. But I'm trying to learn Spanish and French, both hopefully this year. So the thing is, one of these things that the lockdown does, it kind of forces you to learn something new. And I've got one of these subscriptions to Rosetta Stone, and I've started learning. I'm like, this is not that difficult. But I guess I probably need more people to practice. So I've already messaged my Spanish speaking friends that, hey, you guys are going to be target practice for me when I'm starting to use these words, and please don't laugh, because I know I might want to ask for a beer, but I might ask for something else, and you guys will have to just figure this out. But yeah, the thing is, learning languages, eating different kinds of food, and traveling to different places is the best way to network with the community. So I think if you can do 2 of these 3, I think it's great. So Anil does the eating and drinking part really well in the presentations. So I'm guessing that's good, right?
Okay,
Thank
good,
you.
good.
I'll stick with the languages part.
Nice, nice.
Now, sorry, just to continue this, since you guys bought about languages, I want to tell you a very funny thing that really happened when I came to America. So when I came to America, first thing somebody asked me, when I went for an interview, just before the interview, the lady was being nice to me, she said, hey, where are you from? I said, India. And she said, oh, which language? But since I was in an interview, I thought the language meant, so I said, I know C, C++, I know some shell script. And she said, oh, you don't know Hindi? And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. So for me, languages is interesting.
Right. Programming languages.
Yes.
Very nice story. I will ask some questions about these kind of things in a few minutes, but before that, I'm seeing here some comments here. Marcus Vinicius say hack PM guy. So Neil, it's the product management of Rack, which is amazing. We also have here some greetings from Luxembourg. We have here Fernando Simon. You know him,
yes,
guys? Yeah,
of
he's
course.
also here with us.
Hello, we totally miss all these guys.
Yes.
Yes. Rodrigo said, Sandesh, let's play Fall Guys. What else here? Alex Zabala is telling the hardest things to travel with Sandesh it's to wake up 5 a.m. to walk and explore the place. Oh my god. How is that? Tell us how is that? You really wake up
the
5
thing
a.m.?
is, look, no, the thing is, I can't give my secrets because Alex doesn't tell other people how he clears all these certifications. When he tells people how he clears all those certifications, that's when I'll start giving out my secrets for travel.
Oh, so it's understandable now.
Yeah, totally miss you guys though.
Right. And Fernando Simons said here, come to Luxembourg to learn French and German.
That's a good offer.
That sounds like a good deal.
Yes.
So, and still talk about community things and your travels. Can you tell us what do you guys think it's the most difficult you have when you are traveling and sharing information with other people? It's the language. It's that the customer really works different from one country to another. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
There's a whole bunch of stuff in the space. I think the hardest is trying to get used to the time zones for me. trying to wake up and ensure you wake up at the right time. It always scares the heck out of me if I go to a place and I'm like, what if the alarm doesn't go off, or what if I don't feel like I'm going to get up? So adjusting to the time zone as part of a travel is one of the most difficult things for me. But at the same time, it's also about continuously being on a plane. It's not an easy task. It's not as much fun as what people think it is. But I guess all that is compensated when I meet all my friends. See, I really miss these guys. That's why I put this background here.
Right, very nice. I am seeing here.
Kind of,
I can see Zabala there, Pablo,
yeah, this was
Portillo,
before.
Frank.
This was, I think,
Right.
before Marcus became an ace.
Ace.
So he's the only one that's missing on the stage. But it is everybody else. I got Portillo. I got the other Marcus. I got I think I got Frankie. I got Frankie, my selfie buddy.
Yeah.
Right? I got Mr. Rodrigo out there as well. So
Right.
yeah, I got quite a few people out here, and of course Pablo's doing his thing.
Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
totally miss being in person.
Right. This picture was took last year here in Brazil.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And what about you, Anil? Can you share a little bit with us? What do you think it's the most difficult things when you are traveling and when you are sharing information in these big events around the world?
Right. So yes, when I'm traveling, this comes up all the time, like even with our management sometimes. Like Sandesh said, it all looks good when you post these things on Facebook, like, oh yes, we are all laughing. But going through security, going through the waiting for a delayed plane, and then the time zones. On top of it, remember, we don't get time off. We are actually working, right? So the
In all
work
different
doesn't
time
stop.
zones.
Right. The work doesn't stop. It keeps coming in. And it's a bit hard to manage sometimes, and especially with family also, especially when you have younger kids or even older kids, doesn't matter. It is hard on the partner. So, a lot of these things are being juggled. But like Sandesh said, when we land, we see the friends, we see that it's really gives a new energy to us. So yes, this is a little bit of a pain, I would say. I would not disagree, but it also has its what we say as the fruits of labor are realized once we land down there. The friends are come to meet you and say, hey, you haven't seen you for a while, and we have all this information exchange, right? What are the things that changed in the last year that we were here? What happened? How many more certifications did Alex give? So many newer things, right? So it is fun, but I would say 50-50.
Right. That's very good. Very good, Daniel. And I see here one question from Erica Nagamini. He's asking, what is the most difficult hard thing that you technically did, guys? This is a good question. Can you? I think I know that you have a lot of cases that you experience, but try one and tell us a little bit more about this. Okay, you
I
can start
think
with.
I think there's one that comes to mind for me, at least. That's one of the most painful. Is I was actually working in this group called BDE, where we basically get paged for customer issues and you have to fix things. And there was this one evening where I got paged for 7 different undo segment corruptions, and each customer had a different kind of an undo segment corruption. And remember, when you give a suggestion, then the customer pages back after some time, and then you don't, it's like I'm trying to juggle this, and I don't know what corruption I was dealing with and what suggestion had I given to that customer, because I'm dealing with 7 of them. So I spent 3 days recovering customers' databases over 7 different undo corruptions, different kinds of corruptions, and many of them had no backups. So the DBA was basically typing his resume in the middle of the night. Because when they come in the morning and the system is not online,
oh my god,
bye-bye,
Time's
So
up.
I was trying to help these guys, but that was, juggling those issues and trying to recover data in the presence of these undo corruptions, having no backups, and trying to patch the blocks or force a corrupt or an offline rollback segment, and trying to make a decision of, is this going to cause a data loss or not? was probably one of the most stressful experiences I've had in those 3 days, because it's like there were people who would lose their jobs if I was not able to recover those blocks. It was that bad.
Right. Oh, this is for sure. It was a big challenge and also big decision
Mm-hmm.
to in
Like I could have said, oh, I'm not going to help these guys, right? I don't know how to fix this. If I don't know how to fix this, those guys would lose their jobs. So I didn't want to let that happen. So I would really go as far as I can. And I'd be like, okay, this undo segment only affects an index. Great. Drop the index, recreate the index, we're done. It's like, but doing that research and coming to that conclusion that was what I had to do was actually one of the most stressful cases I've had to deal with.
Right, and a very nice posture as a professional, as a human being with that, right? You was also thinking your colleagues
Mm-hmm.
and trying to help them. Very nice. And what about you, Anil? Can you tell about what was your most difficult or hard things that you technically did?
Yes. So
Probably with your
I
hack, right?
yes. Actually, I'll tell you something that is really, even now, gives me goosebumps. You all know during 9/11, we lost a lot of, Oracle databases in the buildings too. And like Sandesh said, it was a very hard time because I had calls from people saying, I have no backup. This is the last backup I have. Can you just get my database up? Because I really need this data, right? It was hard because it's heart wrenching to watch this. There is a personal tragedy that's going on with those people, and then they're trying to work at that time to get this infrastructure up. We were lucky. Like I still remember the email that came in from our boss and our management, which is, if a phone call comes from any customer, do not even worry about the CSI and all that. Just help them. So with that knowledge, we were working almost like non-stop, at least for like 7 days, almost 20 hours a day, day in, day out. Like Sandesh said, there's this recovery, that recovery. Rack system is down. They have no backup. Let's do this. So they have partial backup. Okay, how do we get this out? How do we update the control file? Uh, I would tell you, after 10 days is when we started to take some normal working hours, because both of us, Sandesh and us, we were in the, what we call as the advanced solution team, which means, all the things which are not coming up from the first line engineer comes to us, you know, pagers, so much coming in. It was an interesting time, I tell you. I still don't remember the exact number. Sandesh was good enough to remember these things. I think we worked through at least 50 to 70 cases of database customers who had partial backups, and we got them up as much as we could. We got them up. We patched blocks or we patched control files, but we got them up. And this is for rack database. And the expectation is, hey, I have a rack database, but they don't understand it's a backup. Backup is a backup, right? Rack or no rack.
Right,
But
right.
I can see why, right? Because like Sandesh said, it's a personal thing. They did have backups. The backups are lost, and that's when DataGuard also took off, because this improved, or this showed the need for keeping a copy of your database away from your primary site. So I would say that was the most stressful time in terms of working on and helping out these customers.
Right, right. But on the other hand, I think all of these things make you both guys make you mastered and with more knowledge as you are now, right?
Yes,
I
yes, that
really
helps.
Very
enjoyed it.
nice.
I think that pressure kind of forces you to learn, and you kind of
Oh, what you
it's
have
like,
in your background, man?
well, yeah, well, it's like
Very
I
nice
miss
speaking.
my buddies, man. I miss my buddies.
Oh,
So
very
I can't
nice.
take selfies with them now, but I can at least show off the selfies I've taken with them before.
It's like a
But
virtual selfie.
it's a
Yes.
virtual. This is a virtual selfie. So this is actually me on this side. So I can just
Uh,
like I can put my face here, and I can like, okay, guys, we're here again.
very, very nice.
But me and Anil have enjoyed troubleshooting and working with so many customers. I think while it makes us really good at what we do, but at the same time we've learned a ton from the customers as well. I think it's a two-way kind of a thing, where if you're really interested to learn, you can actually work with somebody and you can learn yourself as well. So I've honestly had the opportunity to work with some really smart people. Like some of the sessions in Brazil, I've actually sat in and I was like sitting and listening to some of these sessions, and I learned something about OCI that I had no ideas about. Because as a person, you can't learn everything, of course, unless you're Alex Zabala. You can learn everything, but apart from him, you can anybody else. We're all humans, and we don't can't give all the certifications, and
He's a
we have to
machine of
learn things.
certification.
He's a total machine. I have no ideas how. I can probably I can probably be inspired by him. That's kind of
Yeah,
where
me
it
too, me
stops.
too.
But you learn so much from just sitting and listening to other people's presentations and the way they are approaching a problem. So that's one of the reasons I go to these conferences, is because I can listen to what other people say. It saves me time from reading the same thing, and I can listen to somebody and learn a language, learn a different kind of an approach, learn a look in different kind of a methodology. There's so many things you can learn if you interact with people.
Great,
So
great, great. And this picture it's from Gob, right? And
yeah, yeah,
you was saying the other picture with some other guys, and
yeah,
I saw a message here from Marcus Vinicius saying here that yeah, you mentioned here, right? And
yeah,
he say yes, but I become ace in 2010 also, but when I
yeah,
join Oracle, I become
yeah. He
an
loses it.
Oracle,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
an
don't know why they
ace
have this
alumni.
stupid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no ideas why we have this thing, but it's just. But I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, that's very nice. And in this period when he became ace in 2010, and I was like a DBA, junior DBA, right? Uh, and I remember very clear that he had a blog of Iraq, and I was, oh
Hmm.
man, what is this? Oracle 10G and with Iraq? How can I learn this? And for many times I was looking his blog and trying to understand how things works and get
Hmm.
some tips of him because he created some steps on how to install and how Haki works, and it was very nice. And since that, I followed this man. He's a very nice guy, Marcus Vinicius. All right.
I mean, you got a very good community there. That's all I can
Yes.
tell you guys. There's so much to learn.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Uh, and I have more questions here. One of them is from Paulo Fernandes. He's asking this. And good evening. I would like to know from both of you how they evaluate technology-related jobs in their countries of origin, and what they think of Brazil as a technology hub, as databases.
All
Did
right. So
you?
I
Okay.
I, I think so. There's two different questions, and these questions are kind of unrelated. The first one is how do you evaluate a job? I think it's very personal. I think it depends on what technology you want to work on. Most people don't look at it that way. They look at it as, oh, AI is hot right now, so maybe I should study AI. But you may not like it. So one thing I always keep telling people: work on something you like. Work on something that you can be passionate about, and you can connect with that stuff. Like if you decide to just stick to something and you don't like it, you don't enjoy it, you're not going to give your 100% to it. So a job is something that you evaluate versus what you like versus what is great in the market, and sure, you may make a little less money in the short term, but it's a very short term approach. It's at some point you're going to reach saying this money is not worth it. I'm not enjoying this anymore, and then you would be forced to switch jobs and maybe start on what you really like. So I think the most important thing from a job perspective is the most successful people that I have met in my life are the ones that are totally passionate about what they do. If you can't be passionate about what you do, that job is not worth it. For the second question, I think Brazil is an amazing market, extremely highly energetic people. You guys are way out there when it comes to technology adoption. I've seen extremely sophisticated stuff all around, from getting into biometric doors to walking around the airports to all sorts of processing that I've seen all around me to the kind of usage of technology that everyone has in terms of apps, cell phones, networking. And it's like Sao Paulo and all these are extremely modern cities in terms of infrastructure. I hate the traffic. Absolutely hate the traffic. But we
Yeah.
compete with you in that. So Bay Area competes with Sao Paulo. Of course, now with COVID, there's no traffic, which is kind of strange. But uh, we that's the only part I think which I did not like. But everything
We
else,
also don't like.
you guys are way out there when it comes to technology and in terms of adoption of technology. So database, cloud, this stuff is fairly ubiquitous in most developing economies, and I think you guys are way ahead there.
I don't think we can hear you, Gilson.
Gilson, we can't hear you, man.
I'm sorry. I just
Yeah.
put on mute here. Sorry. I was saying if Anil also wants to add some more points here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. So thank you, Gilson. So I don't know if you have seen this American movie, which kind of goes something like, the son asks the father some about this same thing, and the answer is something around. Think of a job, if you as if you had like already have $1 million at home, and what would you like to do? So this is exactly what Sandesh said.
Mhm.
Part of the reason why, like I said, we get up early in the morning, do this thing, they do our work, get up all the, sorry about that, get
No
up
problem.
and, try to do these escalations, the pressure situations, is because we absolutely love what we do. Don't be worried about what technology you will end up with, right? Don't have to like think, oh yeah, machine learning is hot, or Java programming is hot, or cloud is hot. You will end up there if you are passionate about it, and there are a lot of opportunities to change and move. But the most important thing is, if you like something, you will spend more time doing it, learning it, like how we have done, at least. Because like Sandesh and I said to you earlier, we started as support engineers, right? Then you move out, you learn and you adapt, and then you try to enjoy these things. So it's very important. So my advice to anybody looking for a job or changing for what they're doing right now is, please do that, whatever you feel passionate about, whether it's
Right.
AI, whether it's databases, whether it's cloud, whether it's Java, it doesn't matter. It's very important.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Very good. Very good points, Anil. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Right. And we also have here another question from Leonardo Ciccone, and this is also very good questions. He's asking, can Sandesh and Anil share tips and tricks on how they organize their time to attend all these events and keep sharp and up to date with latest technology? Good point. Can you start,
Oh,
Anil?
this is an Anil question. This is absolutely an Anil question.
Yeah.
No, no,
Okay, so
definitely.
please go ahead.
Sure, definitely. Yes. It is always a challenge, right? You plan your day saying, okay, I will do this in the morning, in the afternoon, and then, everything goes for a toss. So there are days when we plan and try to do a day like an organized day, and it never happens. Like I mentioned earlier, you would say, all right, tomorrow I have to go to Brazil, so I'll take a flight on Sunday afternoon, and I will do this. I will meet my that friend, and I'll read up on this book and this technology. Boom, flight is delayed. You're stuck in the airport. So yes, that happens a lot. But I would say there are two tips that I always give. Please do find some time to unwind yourself, and whatever technology that fascinates you, read about it. There are good blogs. We all follow certain blogs, and we really like that technology. Like for example, even getting to learn about not just databases, but like operating systems, because what is a database sitting on top of, right? What's coming up next with the new Intel chips? What about firewall? What about the next thing in the cloud? You got to keep up reading about these things. And obviously, there's a lot of content. Social media has created this thing about, even if you read every single second of your day, you will never get even 1% of it. So you got to make sure you find your outlets on how to get information, and then stick with it and make a routine. Sometimes you may not be able to follow it, but overall, if you do, it will be great. So that's one
Mhm.
of the ways which we do. And obviously, since we're in product development, we also have a vested interest on being on top of things, like what is Intel working on in the next generation of chips? What is the next storage device coming up? Like maybe it's PMEM or the successor to PMEM, and how it's going to do writes, and how it's going to change the way databases work and rack works, how it's going to fit in a cloud environment. So there's interesting things that you need to keep up on. So I would say mix of all that is what would be my tips. Sandesh, anything you want to add?
So I basically split my day into three
Oh,
things. One
good.
is
Another pick.
work.
Good.
I'm switching pictures from last year, so I'm getting totally
Right.
nostalgic, with all this stuff. So these are all the co-speakers that I had
Very
from all the
nice.
various regions in Latin America. So we were eating something in the bus, and it was being circulated. It was like this sweet, like this sweet covered in chocolate. I don't know what it was called, but we were just finishing that. Anyways,
Okay.
so I kind of divide my entire day into three things. One is the amount of time you're going to spend with your family, number one. Second is the amount of time you're going to spend doing work, okay, which is your meetings, your this, that's fixed, right? So you have to be 100% committed to whatever you're working on. But the third slot is to read something new. And I do this every day. I may not be able to do it like consistently, but I have a success rate of 80 to 85%. And there's always something new I want to learn. And it might be, just reading a blog or going through an article. Or for me, the video consumption of things like watching YouTube videos works out very well for me. So you have to also find out what is a good consumption mechanism for you. Some people like to read books. Some people just cannot tolerate a book. They can go to sleep in 5 minutes when they read a book. Some people like YouTube videos. Some people like audiobooks. So you have to find what is interesting and what is the method that is interesting for you to consume this stuff. So your work is work. You can't really do much about it. The family is family. You have to commit yourself to it. Otherwise, your kids and your wife will throw you out of the house.
Good point.
Right? That's the P1. That's the inevitable part that you have to do. But the proactive learning part is very interesting. And every time, the previous night before I go to sleep, I start planning my next day. So I already know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Okay, I make a list. The list never ends, but I keep ensuring I keep chipping away at the list. Like, after seeing Alex do all these certifications, I'm like, at least I have to do a few certifications, right? Nowhere going to 250 certifications that Alex did, but he's totally inspired me. So in 2 weeks, my goal was to give 4 certifications, and I'm almost there. So it's like, you got to have a goal. Your goal is to learn this. Like, say you want to learn the OCI cloud, HCL deployment using Terraform, right? Using HashiCorp language, right? You want to learn Terraform and you want to understand what it is and you want to use this. Give yourself 1 month, 1 hour every day. You're going to read something. You're going to deploy templates. You're going to share terraform.tf state. You're going to do something. And learn in small incremental pieces. But at the end of the month, you should be able to use it fully. That's the goal. And stick to it. When you make a goal, stick to it. It should not be like, oh, yeah, it's not that interesting. I will not learn this. When you decide to learn something, take it seriously and stick to it. So these are the 3 things I do. Split your day up, organize your tasks, look at what you're going to do the next day, the previous night, and ensure you have a plan. So tomorrow morning, it's not like, oh, I want to learn this, but this meeting is there, so I can't do it. That never works. And have a commitment to yourself that this is what I'm going to finish by the end of this time. If you religiously follow this, you will be on a constant path to learning.
Right.
Certifications force you to learn. One of the reasons people give certifications is the exam thing scares people, right? It's like, I have to learn this because otherwise I'll suck at an exam. So the exam thing forces you to learn, but it actually does force you to learn, right? And that's what you actually want to do. You want to learn. It's not the outcome of the certification that is important. It's the fact that it allows you to learn and you come out a much more wiser person is the reason why you should do certifications. Of course, if you don't do certifications, you can just ask Alex. He'll answer all your questions.
That's very good. Oh man, hear all of this from both of you guys. It's very nice. You are an amazing. Very good points that you both told here. Yeah, and Marcos Vinicius is saying here one funny thing. He's saying, Alex, it looks like a Bitcoin. We all have just a small fraction of certs, and he's the whole currency.
See,
Very
I know
good
one thing for
analogy.
sure. I can tell you this, that, the certification guys will never be out of business because Alex is going to keep them there.
Yeah, true. Good. And I have one interesting question here that is very nice. And Marcos Vinicius is asking, how was the movement from support to PM? This is a good point.
Yes.
You both are PM, right? So tell a little bit more. How was this change for us?
You want to go first, Sandesh?
Hey, I'm not the PM. You are the PM.
Yeah.
Sandesh is also the PM for his technologies.
I'm
but
the
then
PM
let
for
me
my
just
stuff, but see,
yes,
no.
yes. So let me say,
Anil is the quintessential PM. Okay,
Yeah.
no. That's
Yes.
that's where the buck stops here.
Yeah.
You don't escape from this one.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
No,
There go the
Sandash will change
secrets.
pictures in his
No,
background.
there go the secrets. Okay.
yes, no. So very simple. Okay, so it was I would say, right, like Sandesh said, when you work on technologies and you have a passion for helping customers, you do get noticed, right? So we used to work way more than the allocated 8 hours in a day, um, to learn and to keep up with technologies. And in the last 20 years, actually, there's a lot of change in technologies. In, like, 20 years ago, Linux was not a big thing, right? To now, it's completely changed the landscape. So yes, there is a lot of these things going on, and people do notice. So as I was working, I got noticed by certain folks in Oracle development. And the way it works is support is actually a whole different branch, and the development is a whole different branch. And but cross platforms, people notice that, hey, look at this guy and look at that guy. So Sandesh and I got noticed for this. And remember, the second thing is, for both rack, is that you cannot just say, oh no, it's not a database. You go talk to your OS vendor, yeah, or go talk to the HP hardware guys, right? So sometimes, yes, we do that, but most of the times we learn and we use that knowledge. So eventually you become what we call as I would say, a lot more about the different aspects of technology, like the private network. When we say in rack, you do learn a lot about networking. So when you go to, you get noticed. And so I got a job offer saying, hey, you want to come and be a PM? And I was like, no, I'm very technical. I don't want to be just going and talking to customers, right? I was like, no, I want to remain technical. And Marcus Mikhailovich, who was at that time looking out for a PM, told me that, hey, you can continue to be technical, but it also gives you, you can be reactive, which is what typically support is, because we wait for a customer to call us. Or you could actually go out and talk to the customer on how can we prevent those issues, which is very interesting and a very good segue to what Sandesh is doing now, because that is actually a very good way to prevent it. So instead of Anil and Sandesh, two people taking care of hundreds of customers, how about we build a system, an automation system that could learn, take some brain dumps from both of us and learn how to say, hey, why don't we do that? Why don't we do this? And prevent this in the first place. So there are two different aspects of the technology that we have, introduced. One, what Sandesh is working on from an overall perspective, and one which is inside the database. We have this hang manager technology, which is something that, is very unique. So that's something I would like to get the segue to Sandesh so that he can continue on to that. Sandesh, what do you think?
I think it's like in order to be a PM, you need first of all to be a good speaker. Second is you need to understand the problem. One advantage I've always had when being in support is that support teaches you the nuts and bolts of things. So the biggest difference between like a developer knows a part of the car, like he knows the engine really well, right? A user knows just to sit in a car and drive off. But a PM understands how the various engines work. And when you go to buy the car, they'll say, by the way, you really like this car. See, it looks good. You can sit comfortably and it drives really fast. So you have to connect the developer's view of the product and the support's understanding of the in-depth of the product. Like support can fix the car. Oh, this is a problem. Yeah, I know what this is. Go fix this, fix that. So how do you use the knowledge that you gain of the in-depth components of support and the vision of the developer and make it in such a way that you can convey it to a person without making the person read a technical spec? People read technical specs and go to sleep. So how do you do that? How do you make it simple that this is the value? You want your application to stay up. You want it to stay connected. You don't want to do any work. You just want to write a single piece of code and say, make this highly available. That's rack. You've got to combine the two visions. So I think the advantage that me and Anil had is when we started at support, we understood the internals of it. Support gives you a very in-depth version of the product because you see all the problems. And it's like, you know how to fix this. You know how these pieces work together. So it's very easy for you to correlate this when you're talking as a PM, because you know the problems that people are facing, and you can tell them, by the way, this is how this product addresses these problems. So that's, I think, one of the advantages we've had. When we started with support, we had that perspective. I think we are fairly decent speakers, and we enjoy working with people. We enjoy learning. So it's a good combination. And then we talk to developers and give them an honest perspective, right? It's like, hey guys, this is all cool technology, but nobody's going to use this feature because we don't think this is important, right? So it's like it's that perspective that we bring to the table that the developers don't have. Developers talk to customers a certain number of events, Oracle Open World, a few events here and that during the year, and they may or may not have a perspective of how customers use their products. And we have the amount of depth, experience, and contacts. And that's why when we meet you guys, we ask you, hey, tell us, what do you think of the products? And tell us, be honest about it, right? It's like, it's not, we're not going to be upset about it. We want to fix this stuff. We want to make it better for people, right? So that's the whole idea behind us being the gap, the bridge between the users and the developers. Right. We can go tell them this is what we need to do. So that's why going from support to development is actually a very good career path, or going to PM from a perspective where you can appreciate the technology and the kind of problems people have and their use cases. If you've never worked with a customer, you never know a use case of a piece of software.
Good point. Very nice. Very, very nice, guys. And still talking this way, and can you share a little bit with us what is the future of from you, Sandesh, the AIOps, and from you, how is the future of Iraq, or what things are you working out that you can tell a little bit for us, especially with cloud stuffs and things like that? Can we start with you, Anil?
Sure, definitely, yes. So I think what we are working on again is to obviously, Rack is known for its scalability and availability. We want to make it even more scalable because, I'll be the first person to admit that, yes, not everything scales, and we want to make it scale. On Rack, there is newer hardware technologies coming up. I mentioned about PMEM a bit, where we already use that in Exadata systems, and we want to also make it available on generic systems. It's not just using as a device, it's the optimized way to use it. So yes, we are working on a lot of technologies in this area. The cloud, well, a lot of people think, oh, the cloud is a whole new thing, right? The challenges remain or continue to remain the same. Like, for example, a database has to be deployed. Something has to be patched. Security vulnerabilities have to be scanned. Customers need failover capabilities. These are all normal operations behind the scenes, right? The cloud just makes it somebody else's problem. That's it. So we are still working on all these things in the back end. So you don't have to, as a customer, worry about, hey, am I using Rack? Am I using DataGuard? No, we give you the promise that, especially like when you use the autonomous database, you don't have to worry about what's going on behind the scenes. But what you get is an SLA. And we are trying to make that SLA higher, and making sure that you don't have to worry about, oh, I have to make this change and that change. Without any change, get to the autonomous database and continue to make it better and better. So that's where what we are working on at this time. Sandesh, go for it.
So I think the AI machine learning space is still in its infancy. There's a lot of technologies out there. It's not just like I'm working on just one part of it, which is AIOps, right? Which kind of deals with more of time series data and simple classification, clustering, and all those kind of algorithms. I'm not doing as much deep learning. We do a little bit of deep learning with LSTMs, but we're not that much into deep learning because most of the machine learning algorithms tend to give us very, very good results. But as you can see in the last couple of years, from everything from smart devices, smart appliances, to everything from our irrigation systems to our televisions to our smart homes to the car listening to you and automatically parking itself. There's more and more of this technology that is going to permeate our lives. So I think AI is a very interesting space, but there's many subdivisions of it. Like I get tired reading the papers from ARXIV because there's like a new paper almost every day. And I don't understand more than 50% of this stuff. And I know some of it, but this technology is very, very fast paced and changing. And I think eventually most of us will only have to consume it. We will not have to understand how it works, but we'll have to consume it. And whenever I presented the OML stack and how you can use this in the autonomous database, I keep telling people, most of us are not statisticians, and we should not pretend to be, but we should know how to use these tools to make our jobs easier. It's like you're using a tool, you're trying to it's like all these features of the database, right? I mean, do most DBAs understand how data guard works internally? No, but they know it transfers logs, it applies logs, and as long as the logs are applied, I know that my database is not going to lose any data. And that's all you need to know. So you need to be very focused on the discipline of AI that you are actually interested in. And it's going to continue to permeate our lives in many, many different ways. Like, whether it is autonomous driving of cars, to whether it is, smart devices in our homes, to whether we have the smart assistant that's going to make calls on our behalf and schedule things for us. We're going to have our own personal secretary, all of these things, or whether it is text to speech translation. I mean, today we're kind of at a point where we can use AI to train something on a language that has never been read or understood. Like there a lot of the Latin American languages, from the Mayans, the Incans, people don't know how to read this stuff. So they're using AI to say train something that knows how to speak Spanish to train itself and use something called active learning or transfer learning to learn these lost languages that haven't been spoken for 3,000 to 4,000 years. So these are very interesting applications, from healthcare to understanding our history and civilization. And these things will go a very, very far way to helping humanity as a race, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of AI that's running on data sets that looks at X-rays from COVID patients, that looks at heart scans from COVID patients, that looks at the distribution. I mean, data is everything, right? We see this everywhere. And AI is one of the tools that's actually used to crunch most of this stuff. So it's a very exciting time, to be honest, because a lot of the problems that we thought which could never be solved are actually getting solved every day now.
Right, right. Very nice, Sandesh. And I can see here that we already have passed 1 hour of this interview. Time passed so fast, guys.
What?
Yeah, 1 hour. Can you believe that? I usually say
I
here.
think it's definitely the caipirinhas that you gave us before we started.
We are gonna talk about this, and this is gonna be now because I will start that session with quick questions, and if you guys that it's watching us, if you have some questions, this is the time. Type your questions here, and I will answer with Sandesh and Anil soon, right? So. I'm gonna ask you some quick questions, and you tell us what do you think about this. So let's start about drink. As you told about caipirinha, tell us you when you came to Brazil, you learned this amazing drink, right? How was that
Yeah.
for you?
I think that's probably all I ate and drank.
Yeah, picanha for eating and caipirinha for drinking. Yes, that was amazing to get this introduced to that drink. Yes, I bought some with me.
Yeah, we went to some steakhouse and we kind of lost track of ourselves until we moved that disc to say we don't want any more food, and then we just kept drinking caipirinha after that. So that was pretty much it.
Very good. And did you have the opportunity to do in any barbecue when you was here in Brazil last year?
Not last year. I think the year before, we went around and we went to this amazing place, which is where I think I was taught that when they serve the first things, you say no, and then you wait for the main meat to come in. And it was amazing to learn that, to say no to food that you're really hungry for, but then finally the best piece of the meat comes in, and that's what you have. So yes,
Right.
it was amazing.
Good, good. So you and you are not a vegetarian, right?
No, unfortunately not.
He looks like one, but he's not.
No, I eat everything. Yeah. So
Right. I'm just asking because I know some Indian guys in the project that I told you that I worked, and most of them was vegetarian, but not
yes,
all of them. But they like drink, just
yes,
didn't eat meat, right?
yes.
Okay, okay.
Well, as long as my food doesn't escape from me, I will eat
Uh,
it.
good point. This is a good point. Very nice, very nice. And now, what about the music, guys? What do you like to listen?
Go for it, Sandesh.
For me, it's trance music. That's my favorite because it just helps me relax and unwind. But
Good.
I'm a product of the '80s, so definitely all the bands that go with it. Aerosmith, John Bon Jovi, Metallica, Sting. You name all those bands, and I'm kind of in that
Yeah,
sector.
good. Very nice,
Guns N'
very nice.
Roses.
Guns N' Roses, very nice, true. Good. And what about you, Anil? What do you like to listen to?
Yes, in on top of what Sandesh said, I also listen, a lot to Bollywood music. So yes, that is something that keeps us connected back home too.
Okay, okay, that's very nice. So you talking about drink, food, music, and sports. Do you like any kind of sports? Anil, you can start.
Yes, yes. So I watch cricket a lot. That is very big in India, and I play
Yeah,
cricket too. So if you anybody is following me on Facebook, you would see that I post every
yeah,
day on that.
yeah.
Uh, yes, and I play a lot of tennis. I love tennis,
Mm.
so I play a lot of tennis. So between these two, that's how I burn the drinks and the food I eat.
Yeah,
Very
for me,
nice.
it's cricket and soccer. Well, soccer is social. If I get social company, I'm not so much into the sport, but it's like if I get a bunch of people who can sit with me and enjoy a game, it's totally cool. If you go to Anil's posts, you see nothing but either alcohol or sports. It's usually one of the two, and they both reinforce each other. He has to have a
Nice.
picture of a beer, a cerveza in every place. Okay,
Mm.
so if you see his post back to Latin America, there's a picture of a beer in every location.
Yes.
So I'm
Right.
sure that's the part you're missing a lot, right? I mean, it's like
Yes,
having no,
yes.
Yeah.
it's like no beers in the
No.
airports, in the various locations. It's like now he has to Photoshop in them in. It's like
Okay. So I'm gonna show to you a beer that you should prove when you come here to Brazil. This is a beer that next DBA stopped working with database and Oracle and so on. It started to produce beer, and now she has a manufacturer of beer. I think it's not sure if this is the right way to say, but he has a
mhm.
manufacturer of beer. And unfortunately, you are not here in Brazil, but people that participate in Golden Talks that is in São Paulo have this beer here. This is
Oh,
Samadhi.
that's
Okay.
very good.
You never know.
Yeah,
If they export it, we might probably get it here.
Yes, we'll
yeah,
try that.
yeah. But when you
You
come
see,
to
working
here, I
working
will
on a
show
couple
to
of
you.
if you work on a couple of Aura 600s, that'll do that to you. You'll start producing good beer.
Good point.
See, that's what a DBA does to you. It makes you make good beer.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is part of the DBA life, right?
Yes, yes.
Right, right. And one more question, guys. We talked about all your career and things you are doing now, but when you was a kid, do you what was your dream when you was a kid? What was your job when you was a? Sorry, I totally lost the
mhm.
question. Let me try again. I'm sorry for that. When you was a kid, what was the job that you was thinking that you would do when you grow up? Got the question?
Yes, yes, I did. I will
I'm
go
sorry for
first.
that.
No, no, you did
I
right.
tried.
No, no, you did very good. Yeah. So I think what you're asking is, as a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up as a professional
Yes,
career? Yes.
that's it.
Um, yes,
Thank you.
for the longest time, my parents and my family, there was a lot of people in the military, so I always thought of joining the military.
Hmm,
But
nice.
I'm not that. I'm a bit lazy, so good thing that computer science came along. How about
Good,
you, Sandesh?
good.
That would change. It
Military.
would change for me every week. So I wouldn't be able to tell you which one, but the various things that came to mind is becoming a doctor, becoming a cop, becoming a spaceman, becoming a fireman. It just kept changing every week, and then finally I decided not to think about it and just let nature take its course. And then it
Right.
was, then software came along and a whole bunch of other stuff happened, and then I kind of stopped thinking about it.
The nature lets you
Nature basically took its course. Yeah. Otherwise, I was like, oh, I was fascinated with being an astronaut and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, there's no gravity on the moon. Holy crap! There's no caipirinhas there either. How the hell are you going to do that? That's it. Computer science it is.
Yeah. Very nice, guys.
Yes.
You are so nice, so great.
Yeah.
uh, so, the last question that I usually ask for everyone that participates here in Golden Talks is, what is success for you? So, you can start, Sandesh.
Success is if I'm happy with the goals I set for myself, if I have met them. It's a very vague answer, but it's like, for me, it's like, uh, there are things I want to work on. Uh, that's just a means for me to travel the world. So I want to travel the world, meet all sorts of interesting people, and if and so far, according to TripAdvisor, I've been to 28% of it, and I think if I reach probably 44%, I'll be super happy with that. So we all, it's like I look at a post-retirement goal as a goal for life. Everything else is just a means to get to retirement, right? So rent an RV, drive around everywhere, check out some cool stuff, drink lots of caipirinhas, camp somewhere, enjoy nature. That's the thing that you eventually want to do once all the job and all these things are kind of out of the way. And while you're at it,
Good.
just enjoy the people you work.
Right, right. Very nice, very nice. And what about you, Anil?
Yes, I completely agree. Especially with this COVID this year, you realize that, success is not about how much money you make or what kind of car or what kind, it's about your, like I call myself successful because I work for a very good set of, my boss is extremely nice. I work with very good friends like Sandesh. I can, the amazing people I surrounded myself with. I have amazing friends. I land in Brazil. I land any place. I have friends who I can go to. Success is feeling happy about these things, right? So I feel that I'm extremely successful because I don't know of a place on earth where I would land. I would be like, oh no, what am I going to do today? No, it's actually how much can I get done with this 20, 30 friends in one night that I have to go to and meet and have fun, right? So that's the
Right.
best part about this. So success is that, I think.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
Anil just wants a selfie with Dhoni. Okay, Dhoni is one of the really top cricketers. So Anil just wants a selfie with Dhoni and all these
That would be
guys,
nice
and he
too.
wants to become a good
That
cricketer,
would be
right? It's
nice.
like, it's like, oh Anil, you remember that guy with Dhoni? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where Anil stops, and then he
Yes.
goes after his beard.
You are so funny, guys. Thank you very much for that. Very nice. Uh, I have a question here for of Rodrigo Jorge. He's
Uh-huh.
asking, when are you guys coming to Rio de Janeiro? Good question.
Well, I was there last year. I got some good recommendations from Rodrigo. By the way,
Mm,
Rodrigo's busy with changing diapers and stuff like that, I think. And it's like he gave me a whole bunch of tips, but he wasn't there. I think he was traveling somewhere. So I had a good time on Copacabana and Ipanema Beach,
right.
and I saw Christ the Redeemer and stuff like that, and I got to see Sugarloaf Mountain, a whole bunch of
Sugarloaf.
places around there. So basically, I went everywhere I could get a caipirinha and I could relax.
Good.
The beach, the mountains, the Christ the Redeemer statues. There's this garden that's below the mountain where the Christ the Redeemer is. I think it's called Parque Large. That's how they pronounce it, and that's also a really nice place. You can have some tea, coffee, biscuits, and stuff like that. So I had a good time in Rio last year thanks to Rodrigo's recommendations. But I'm hoping
Right.
next time when I come, he'll be actually there. Of
Right.
course, he has to
Good.
take care of the kids first. Kids come
Yeah.
first, friends come later. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And there was one place that you liked the most in all of these places that you went in Rio?
The beach, man.
The beach. Good.
Totally the beach. I mean, we were just, me and I think who was there actually? I had Doug. Doug was with me on the beach. After we
Mm,
finished presenting in Sao Paulo, we came to Rio, and we were both on the beach, just we're just relaxing, because we'd already started this tour, right? And I'd been away from family because I just finished another tour in for the AIOG guys in India, so I had just kind of flown in. So we were just trying to relax and unwind after the Sao Paulo thing because we were going to kick off the rest of the other countries, right?
mm,
So the beach, the people. The best time I had on Copacabana Beach was listening to a bunch of people singing and dancing and playing some music, and we were eating some salad and caipirinhas, and we were just sitting on the beach and just
right,
enjoying this thing in the evening. That was one of the best times that I can remember in Rio that I had. It's the people, man. It's the people that make everything work. You know.
right, right. Very nice, very nice. And Marcus Vinicius is also saying here that Sandesh posted a great picture from Rio last year. And good. And what about you, Anil? Did you also went to Rio, right? Tell a little bit. Tell about this for us.
No, actually,
No,
so I did not go to
no.
Rio,
Oh man, really?
but that was the plan last year. Unfortunately, I had to come home for an emergency. But everything is good now. But next time, I'm definitely planning. We
You
should
see, you'll
hopefully
never
should do
find
it.
pictures of Anil from Rio on Facebook, okay? If Anil goes to Rio, you won't know about it. What happens in Brazil stays in Brazil. I'm the idiot posting stuff out there, but this Anil's not going to post anything.
Right, right. So, but you last year was not the first time you come to Brazil, right?
No, this is the third
The
time
third
last
time,
year. Yes.
and
First time for me. Yeah.
right, first time for Sandesh. And you did you went to Rio in your last times that you come to Brazil, or you never went to Rio
No, so
yet?
that was the thing that was my feedback to the first time I met Alex was that either you do the last stop at Brazil or the first stop at Brazil, because it was like one day I'm there, that evening I'm flying out to some other country. So it was hilarious that the year he actually did it, that I had to come back.
Right.
But no, I didn't get a chance to get to Rio. But
Oh,
that is definitely in my list.
right, right. So maybe next year, who knows?
Definitely,
Right?
yes,
With Caipirinha, of course.
of course, of course, yes,
Totally, totally.
yes,
Totally. Okay.
I'm
So,
missing all my friends here already.
yes.
yeah, great. A lot of amazing guys through. And
Yeah, I'm
so,
marking them on the list. So all you guys are responsible for our fun time next year.
time. Very good. So I'm gonna do a revelation that I already told to Sandesh and I think Anil, but for all of you that is watching, as we are talking about Rio, and then you didn't yet went to Rio. And last year I was like a guide for some Indian guys that was working from with me in Oracle, and I went twice to Rio just to let they know how was Rio. And next year, Anil, if you come to Brazil, we can plan, and I will be your guide in Rio. Okay,
Oh,
it will
I'm
be a
so
pleasure to
honored.
me.
I'm so honored. Thank you.
Yeah, so we
Thanks a
can
lot,
go in
man.
the Christ Redeemer,
Definitely.
Sugarloaf, and a lot of
Yes.
other great places. Copacabana Beach, Caipirinha, and
Of course.
okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, guys. So it was very nice. I really am very happy to have this moment with you here. Many things we discussed and a lot of interesting things you shared for me and for all of these people that it's also watching us. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention to be here. Uh, I'm very happy and I still kind of nervous too. You can see that sometimes my English uh, is not so good,
Your
but
English
I'm
is
keep
fine, man.
trying.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's it. I will now give you a moment if you wanna say something, and also if you want to share a little bit more of your experience and knowledge with the people that it's watching us, and especially for the ones that it's starting his career in this new generation of IT professionals. Okay, so
Right.
if you wanna start anew, please go ahead.
No, that's it. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you guys for having us. Making us feel quite at home. It's very nice of you guys. That just shows all over the world there are wonderful people, and we just need to get out of our comfort zone, out of our homes, go and meet them. So thank you again. Advice for new people, as I said, just try to learn what you're passionate about. Like, try to do what you're passionate about, and you'll be good. You don't have to pick and choose a technology. That's all
Okay,
from me.
that's good.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
all I can say is I'm totally missing you guys. All my friends, stay safe because the US and Brazil are kind of way up there when it comes to COVID cases.
Right.
So
Yeah,
try
that's
to
true.
stay safe. Try to bring this thing down under control. The sooner we can bring this under control, we can meet.
Yes.
And of course, for all my Brazilian friends who had kids recently, take care of yourselves and kind of get some good sleep while you're at it.
Right.
For all the people that are trying to enter the career space, uh, focus on what you like. There's so many technologies. There's cloud. There's AI, machine learning. There's autonomous DBAs. There's so many different technologies now, from functions to Kubernetes to just understanding how to deploy infrastructure and operational roles to being a developer who kind of works on serverless functions and stuff like that. There's so much different technologies out there now, and you have so many different choices of learning. There's a ton of courses online, and if you actually want to figure out what to do, most of my friends who are actually in this picture, from Alex to Marcus to Rodrigo to Portillo, all these guys have blogs where they put
Yes.
out stuff. They have training courses. There's so much of free knowledge out there. They're all excellent guides to get started. Like, I know Alex posts information about how do you prepare for certification, and there's all this stuff that Rodrigo posts for Data Guard. I know Portillo has a bunch of courses with Nerve. There's so much of cool stuff in this community. Take advantage. Try to ask questions. Some of these guys will not hesitate to mentor you if you have thoughts of which line to go into and how you actually want to start. So work on something that you enjoy. There's so many different choices for you, and stay safe.
Great, amazing words, and
Thanks for having us, by the way. Mhm.
yes, I thank you guys to have you here. It was very nice, and c- uh, continues what you are saying. The what?
Obrigado, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, I'm start to get nervous once again. But what I was trying to
Speak to
say
us
is
in
that,
Portuguese.
yeah. Okay, okay. Uh, Oh, now I'm nervous. What I was trying to
Uh-oh.
say is that what you do, guys, as we also have a lot of amazing guys in Brazil that also share with the community, with blogs. I told about the case of Marcos Vinicius that I learned a lot with him when he posted his blog with a lot of rock and things, and it was very helpful for me in that time. And from that, I started to follow him. And what you are doing today, share information with the world, with the community, traveling to all of this conference. I know that it's very hard to sometimes let family, kids, and keeping traveling for a lot of months around the world. But this, for sure, it's helping a lot of people. It's also helping me, and I'm very glad to have you guys also with this. Posture to share knowledge, to give a little bit of what you learn to all of we, and for free, right? So this is very nice. So congratulations for keeping doing this work.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
okay. So once again, thank you very much to be here in the Golden Talks. Thank you for you that it's watching us until now and had with me watching these amazing guys. I'm very happy, and I will keep it safe because I was not believing that I was able to interview you both guys really. When Alex told me, I said, "Oh man, me talking and interview Sandesh and Anil, this is possible." So I'm very happy, really happy with that,
Sure.
and I hope maybe we can do some sessions later in other moments. Okay?
Definitely.
So
Take care.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
thank you. And I will finish here. I always do this in Portuguese, but I will try in English, okay?
No, do it in Portuguese because we want to see you do it in
In
Portuguese.
Portuguese, okay. So
Absolutely, go for it.
alright, so I'm gonna end this video as I always say in português. Pessoal, muito obrigado a todos e não se esqueça, se você gostou desse vídeo, não se esqueça de deixar o seu like, se inscrever no canal, ativar o sininho e o mais importante, replique conhecimento com o mundo e compartilhe esse vídeo. Valeu, pessoal. Thank you very much, guys, and have you next Golden Talks. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys. Bye.